Welcome to The Rocket Right Show, starring Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar. Two busy blondes with their fingers on the pulse of all things Louisiana. Events, health, leisure, entertainment, and more. It's The Rocket Right Show. And now, here's Betsy and Kay.
And you know you're in the right place if you're ready to hang out with two busy blondes. And Lord knows we have been busy.
I have been busy. I've made some road miles.
You have made some road miles. Nashville back, Florida back, Florida. That's right. You never know where Kay's going to be. Of course, you know, this time of year is really special for her because we're heading into her birthday season.
Oh, yeah. So, that's right.
That's right.
My birthday season. I like that. Right. It's not even a birthday month. It's a whole season. I like that, Betsy.
Blondes never celebrate just the day, just so you know. It's not just the week. It's the season. So get ready.
I like it.
So my sister girl and I are going to be celebrating that next week. And so we're really looking forward to sharing with you some of the great people and some wonderful things that are going on in and around Louisiana. So we're glad that you wanted to hang tight with us. So we have a wonderful show, and we're excited to share with you some news from in and around Louisiana. In a few minutes, we're going to have Susan Russell. She is a very passionate advocate for keeping Louisiana beautiful. You're going to be pretty wowed by some of the things that she says. And then we have a few new doctors with Mary
Absolutely.
Bird Perkins.
And talking about one of, my topics that I always love to speak about is it is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, so being an OBGYN, that's right up my alley. And we have Dr. Lauren and Sanjay Juneja that are medical oncologists with Mary Bird Perkins. We always love to have docs from there share information on the show. And
we don't often get a husband-wife duo.
I know. And
So
being that I'm one, I kind of like that.
That's right.
Exactly. I might have some questions for them.
That's right.
Been there, done that. And then David Borne, you got a chance to catch up with him at the Home for the Holiday show, which I missed. So I can't wait to see what y'all chatted about.
I love David Borne's lyrics, and I wish I could sing because he has very clever lyrics, and I like his songs. And so I enjoyed my conversation with him that we'll share with you. But first, we wanted to talk about a couple of things around the state. So, as you know, we are heard in Natchez, Faraday, Vidalia, going into Mississippi, in that part of Louisiana, up in that neck of the woods. And our friend Jim Bob Allgood, who owns Mid-South Broadcasting, Miss Lou Media, Miss Lou Tours, and who is a reality star for the last 22 years on Redneck Adventures. He actually has people in Australia and Africa that follow him on Redneck Adventures.
And he's going to take us on one of them Redneck Adventures.
I've been on a redneck adventure with him. We went bass fishing. We caught a lot. He was fun.
Okay. Well, that
it was
cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so this past week, I had the privilege of being with he and Nashville singer-songwriter, performer, Rick Revel, who has been known as Mr. History, and he also has the History Highway television program. And so I was able to go and be with them for a press conference. And so we're going to show you a little bit about that with the Vidalia Mayor, Buzz Craft. Now, this is really important because the film industry is a huge driver as to why people choose to come to Louisiana to enjoy what we know is the best food, people, culture. And so we want to play a little bit of that press conference for you because it's really important that we have new programs and new television shows, but we're thankful that Jim Bob Allgood has partnered with us for the last year and a half or so and broadcast our show on two radio stations there, the River 107.1 and the Gator 104.7. So you can hear us every Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
That's why we're on the go. We're just all over the place.
Go.
Well, I want to see, because I know that you represented the Lieutenant Governor at this press conference. So can we roll that video of the press conference now and see a little behind the scenes with Bets?
Hey folks, Jim Bob, Redneck Adventures, Mid-South Broadcasting, and American Ramblers. We are proud to be bringing you one of the most awesome new traveling great TV shows. Hey, behind me is a plethora of great folks. I'm gonna let them step up to the mic and introduce themselves and say a few words, so y'all stay tuned.
My name's Rick Revel. A lot of you know me as Mr. History on History Highway. Jimmy Allgood gave me the opportunity to show my television nationwide on Roku, and we've developed quite a friendship and relationship. We've had the opportunity to pitch some ideas around and kind of kick them real hard, and we came up with this idea of American Ramblers. So, we want to show the greatness of America. We don't want to show things that, if you watch the news, you get depressed. We want to show you the good side of America. We want to show you the greater parts of America. And it started here in Natchez, a city, a town, a settlement over 300 years old on the Mississippi, probably the oldest existing settlement on the river, about 2 years older than New Orleans. So it's amazing the history that's here. So as a history nut, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy talking about America's history, its story. So when we take that story and we bring it to the rest of the world, and we become proud of America again, let's get out and see America. See, American Ramblers is about us going around seeing the great things that's in this country, but we want you to also see these things. We want you to reconnect to America. We want you to see what makes us great and what has made us the greatest nation of all times. So, American Ramblers, make sure you watch it. Because if you miss a single episode, you'll miss the best part of what makes America great.
Hello, America. I want to tell you I am so excited that American Ramblers has chosen the Miss Lou, Natchez, Mississippi, Today, Louisiana, to start a program that I think is going to be something that our citizens in the United States need to hear right now. And that's to see small town America, and that, look, there's a lot of good things going on in our country that people aren't talking about. So I want you to be sure that you're going to follow every episode of these two old Southern boys that's going to travel the United States and show everybody the good part that's still here in America. Let's don't watch all this nastiness going on. There's good people in our community today, Louisiana. On behalf of those citizens, we are a wonderful community, a safe community. We have so much to offer. We're right here in the middle of the sportsman's paradise. Come check us out, but I want you to follow these guys because they really have an important message that our country needs to hear right now and see small town America that's doing it right. And I want to thank them, and I want to thank our Lieutenant Governor, Billy Nunn-Gafford, who has been a wonderful steward for the state of Louisiana in promoting tourism. I love all the slogans that's come out of his office. Louisiana, where you can come feed your soul. What a saying. And also staycations in Louisiana. All of those things are very important. And after these guys do their tour and show you part of our Miss Lou area, you're going to agree. Thank you so much.
And so you could tell it was a little windy. That's an
Yes,
on
it
the
sure
scenes.
was. And your actual hair wasn't like all like this, like mine would have been. You did really good, Bets.
I got to tell you, we are going to be hitting the road, and we're going to be going to small communities, and we're going to tell about the people there that have a really cool story, their passion and all that. But I'll tell you, there's some things going on all around Louisiana. We have motivated people to bring people to visit. And so we need to all do that. And we're going to talk with Susan Russell in a minute about keeping Louisiana beautiful. We got a little cleaning up to do before company comes. I'm just going to tell you. And one thing that's really important that I want to make sure you know, Rex, the Mardi Gras organization of Rex, is 150 years old. And there is an incredible exhibit that's opening up on February 1st, and that's a Tuesday.
My birthday.
Your birthday, by the way, her birthday. Feel free to send gifts. But the Rex exhibit is going to be phenomenal, celebrating 150 years of the School of Design at the Presbyterian in Jackson Square. You need to go see that. There's also 2 civil rights marker unveilings, one at McDonough 19 in New Orleans and the other one at Camp Beauregard, honoring the 761st Battalion. Those are going to be phenomenal things happening in the next couple of weeks. And, of course, we got Jazz Fest. We got French Quarter Fest.
And the Louisiana Fair and Festivals Convention is happening this next week, where all the fair and festivals come together, and hopefully they're all going to have a big year coming out.
Because the money stays in local.
A lot of them didn't happen and went away, and so want to support those.
Well, the money stays in local communities, and that's why we need the fair and festivals to come back. So we're going to be talking about your health. We're going to be talking about cleaning up, and we're going to talk about some good time music. So you need to just hang with us, right?
Absolutely. Don't be going nowhere.
That's right. Call
Unless
a friend.
you're like going somewhere we told you to go, right?
That's right. Call a friend. Tell them they need to come see you in Louisiana. Come down for Mardi Gras. If New Orleans is too fast and too busy for you, there's 75, literally 75 parades all around the state. Laissez le bon temps rouler, Kay.
For sure.
That's right. We're going to have a good time. So hang with us. We're going to be right back on Rocket Right with Hurricane Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Birthday Solar.
There's a joy of life you'll find only in Louisiana. A spirit of celebration that takes your senses places they've never been before. Where expressions of joy are an art form and our way of life. Where an abundance of good food, good times, and great music means there's more than enough to go around. Come one, come y'all. Come feed your soul in Louisiana. I'm John Goodman, inviting you to visit LouisianaTravel.com and plan your getaway today.
The use of opioids and addiction to opioids is on the rise, especially in Louisiana, and I wanted to be a part of the solution. If you have a family member or loved one that you are concerned about with regard to opioid use, please call my clinic, Advantage Health Solutions. You can speak with my nurse or you can speak with myself, and we will talk to you about how to get that person into treatment, and we'll tailor what we do to your needs, and we'll do what we can to get your loved one in treatment and onto the path to health.
Red Stick Music, Baton Rouge's live music calendar since 2014, with a full calendar available on the website 24/7, clickable links to artists and venues. View the entire weekend lineup at a glance and plan your outings with your friends. View professional recordings of local live musicians, watch interviews with people in our music community, and find additional resources. Red Stick Music, Baton Rouge's live music calendar.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser of the great state of Louisiana. Hurricane Ida has brought great devastation to our community. In time of need, Louisianans always step up and help their neighbor. This time is no different. We'll help our neighbors and friends get back as we always do. If you need help or know of someone that needs help or would like to volunteer or make a donation, go to volunteerlouisiana.gov. We are Louisiana Strong. Thank you.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts, in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
Are you a business owner that could use just one more customer? Those empty tables, vacant appointments, idle employees, and expired merchandise are missed opportunities. What if there were a community that connects you to high-value and motivated customers, giving you a competitive edge in the marketplace and increasing your revenue? Introducing Partners One. You keep doing what you do best, taking care of your customers, and we'll do what we do best, sending you new customers to take care of. Call us today to find out how Partners One can work for your business.
All right, y'all, I'm super excited to introduce you to Susan Russell. You talk about a motivated, passionate Louisiana woman. Let me tell you something. If you have trash sitting around your yard, you might find Susan out in your front yard picking it up. No, she really has done a phenomenal job for several years with Keep Louisiana Beautiful. This is her mission, it is her calling, it is her passion, and she has gotten other people involved, and now Governor John Bel Edwards has just recently added Susan to the task force, a statewide task force, to do exactly what she set out to do in the beginning which was to keep Louisiana beautiful and clean. Thank you so much for coming from Madisonville so you could come be with us and share your mission and your passion.
Oh, I love it, to be sandwiched between two beautiful blondes on a weeknight. I like to talk trash.
That's right. Let's talk some trash.
I love
do it.
Well, we need to be talking trash because all of us see it all the time. Even my husband just the other day was like, "What kind of people throw trash in our neighborhood?"
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even on the highway pitching it out. It has to be somebody that's living or visiting someone in the neighborhood. I mean, who does that? But people do that, and you see it all over the place.
And it's so
which
hard
is
to
terrible.
comprehend, right?
It is
what
hard
is the
to
mindset
comprehend.
there? And, I tell people we're trying to change people's attitudes, behaviors, and culture. It is something that has been accepted for way too long.
And it's not accepted in other states to the degree it is here.
Absolutely
because
not.
when I travel, like for example, I love North Carolina. It is a 911 emergency if you got trash on the side of the road. Their attitude toward recycling and trash is totally different than ours.
Our tolerance is high, and our expectation is low. That's become the norm, and we're setting out to change that because I don't think Louisiana has been as littered and trashy as it is now. It's at an all-time high.
You can't blame it all on storms.
No, you can't. And, it really, we'll see a difference when we all come together. So there's a role, of course, in the private sector, the public sector, nonprofits, and, of course, every citizen. So when we all come together and take on this collectively, work together, we'll start to see a change. And that's why you mentioned about the governor, the lieutenant governor coming together.
Yes.
First time in Louisiana's history that we've had them stand in unison, to declare cleaning up Louisiana priority. So we're super excited about that.
So previously, Keep Louisiana Beautiful as an organization, you are truly passionate about it, and you've educated me on so many different aspects of things that have affected our state that I really wasn't aware of, the really enormous monetary cost. But your department was under the Department of Education, and then it recently moved under the Lieutenant Governor's office, and he's been an advocate for this for years.
For years. This isn't just something that happened,
So now
this
he's the
past
chairman
year.
of the task force. Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is now chairing 26 people, of which you're probably the most vocal advocate. And you've gotten so many other people involved.
They're probably going to get really tired of seeing and hearing from me because I'm going to be a taskmaster.
If they clean it up, it doesn't matter.
But it really is, like I mentioned, it really is the first time we've had a governor and lieutenant governor say enough's enough, we have to do something.
Right.
Because it's a huge problem. We can't just say that it's the citizens who are throwing things out the window. Clearly that's happening. That has to stop.
Yes.
But we have to look at enforcement. We have to look at education. We have to look at infrastructure that support clean communities, citizen behavior. What we need is to really build all of that, and I think that's what the task force will be tasked with.
You've got some big names on this task force.
Yes.
So you've got, of course, Jay Darden is the Commissioner of Administration. He's on the task force. You have Secretary of Transportation Sean Wilson, which, of course,
Absolutely.
there are so many people that throw trash out the window, which we already talked about. I have a little problem with, and I have been known to accelerate up and fuss at people. I have to be careful about that.
Yes, you do.
You've got Colonel Lamar Davis with the Department of Public Safety and Corrections. You've got the mayor of East Baton Rouge Parish on there. You've got the Point Capiz Sheriff, Renee Thibodeau. There is a list of people who truly care about...
It's a nice cross-section. It really is.
But it's a reflection on all of us. So how much money does this cost the state of Louisiana to pick up the trash and volunteers? I want you to talk about the volunteers.
Sure.
Because that is who makes this happen. And you can become a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Many people talk about fun, get together, talk trash, remove some trash, talk about the financial impact on Louisiana.
Yeah, so we did a study some years ago. So at the time, we discovered that about $40 million in litter abatement and removal. That's the cost of it.
That is crazy.
And that was years ago.
Just think of what else that could be used for.
Exactly.
I mean,
so we did a study, a survey with local and parish and state entities asking them these questions. And so, let's talk about preventative measures and policies and procedures that support clean communities, so we can take some of that money and spend it on things that we really, would be better use, like education.
Elevate,
Hello.
yes, elevate ourselves by cleaning up and making this affects property values, quality of life,
everything,
so many things.
Everything. But there is some good news, right? And so our organization, we are a statewide organization, and our role is really to support local communities, because change happens at that local level quickest, right? And so we provide education, training, resources, programs, grants to help them build capacity so that they can address the issues. And so we have 39 affiliates, but we have partners throughout the state. And as much as we are proud of the work that we're doing, and I'll go ahead and read you some of our numbers.
Please do, because these are fantastic.
Last year we had over 16,000 volunteers, and that was a value of a workforce of $1.5 million, and that's huge.
Thank you, if you were a part of that.
Absolutely.
If you were one of those, thank you for caring about our state and about us enough to make a difference.
That's the backbone of the organization, and they helped with 437 waterway and roadway cleanups. They collected 2.5 recyclables and
2.5 tons?
2.5 million pounds of recyclables. Thank you. 282 tons of litter removed just from the roadways. And so I can go on and on and on.
It's just hard to even fathom that much. But when you ride around and you see it everywhere you turn, you can imagine if it was all raked up together how much it would be.
And so, as you know, I'm proud of these, 250,000 participants. So these are people have participated in these collections or in these programs one way or the other. And as great of a job that we're doing, we're struggling, right? This is just scratching the surface.
That's right.
Because we cannot do this on the backs of volunteers and citizens. We need all the segments of our community working together, like I mentioned when we first started talking. And I think this task force will identify that. What are other states doing that we're not doing? What are the best practices? So we're taking a look at Tennessee and Texas and South Carolina and some of the other states, and we will examine their best practices and their policies and how they fund this, so that we can say, what are they doing that we're not doing? What is it that we need to do? Let's bridge that gap. And so
I think there used to be fear of fines if you were tossing something out of the car.
And as a state,
granted, there's so much other crime going on that it's hard to say, well, somebody's going to get you for like throwing, a drink cup out of your window. So they're not worried about that. Granted, mentally you ought to not want to do that. So that's a conversation with getting people to it's not do that.
Do you have any honor about where you are and who you are?
Yeah.
And the place where you live? Do you have any honor or respect for what people are trying to build up instead of tear down?
And it's hard for, folks like us, right? We kind of think the same and have the same values, right? And so we don't need enforcement in our lives, right? Because we are law-abiding people.
Out the window.
Right. But unfortunately, some people, that will be what it takes for them to change. They're not going to listen to the please don't litter signs, right? And other things.
Well, there's cameras everywhere. So perhaps if the cameras were used for enforcement, that might be a positive. Because if you get fined $500 for throwing a cup out of a window, you might not do it again.
Well, and there's some people who actually
might do it again.
Dump an entire garbage bag out of their window, which is very hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But
I think that enforcement will be looked at very seriously. We do have state police, we have wildlife and fisheries, we have the Sheriff's Association, Department of Corrections represented on this task force. And I think everybody knows that these are all pieces to the puzzle. We're not going to enforce our way completely out of this problem. It's a piece of the puzzle.
It's a culture. It's an education issue. It's a resource issue.
We need to make societal shifts in behaviors, just like what was done with seatbelts, the same thing that was done with drinking and driving. My kids have never been in a car without a seatbelt. I grew up never wearing a seatbelt.
Right. And we had the arm.
Yeah, my older kids, they do designated drivers. They'll call Ubers. So that's what we need to do with
I agree
littering.
with you. I agree with you. Susan Russell, keeping Louisiana beautiful. I want you to come back.
I'll be back.
I want you to share closer to some of the different things that you have going on throughout the year. But thank
Absolutely.
you. How can
Thank
people
you.
find you? KeepLouisianaBeautiful.org.
.org.
Keep Louisiana Beautiful.
Come volunteer. Join us.
Yeah, I challenge you to come volunteer. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be talking with a couple of doctors that you need to meet, because who knows, you might need their help. We'll be right back.
My biggest concern was my family and being able to see me come home every day and know everything is going to be okay. I felt comfortable that I was being treated by some of the best. There were some scary points along the way, but it's just kind of like been a little blip in the road.
Money, wellness, fun. Rocket Right Radio takes you all across Louisiana and the nation with guests who live life to the fullest.
I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
I'm Dr. Kay Solar.
You're gonna love it.
Join us every week when we cover
Everything under the sun.
Live and learn with the Wright sisters.
Politics.
health,
Music and entertainment.
local agnet.
Rocket Right Radio. You're gonna love it.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser of the great state of Louisiana. Hurricane Ida has brought great devastation to our community. In time of need, Louisianans always step up and help their neighbor. This time is no different. We'll help our neighbors and friends get back as we always do. If you need help or know of someone that needs help or would like to volunteer or make a donation, go to volunteerlouisiana.gov. We are Louisiana Strong. Thank you.
Red Stick Music, Baton Rouge's live music calendar since 2014, with a full calendar available on the website 24/7, clickable links to artists and venues. View the entire weekend lineup at a glance and plan your outings with your friends. View professional recordings of local live musicians, watch interviews with people in our music community, and find additional resources. Red Stick Music, Baton Rouge's live music calendar.
Whitetail Properties is not your average real estate company. Land specialist and MSU alum Jeff Taylor in Mississippi and LSU fan realtor Cade Taylor have teamed up. Their sole purpose is uniting buyers and sellers of recreational land. If you are interested in hunting, ranch, investment, and timber properties, Whitetail Properties experts have the right real estate for you. Call Jeff Taylor, 601-248-9433, or Cade Taylor, 225-719-0495, or visit whitetailproperties.com.
At Hightower Dental Concepts, we take a compassionate approach to family dentistry. Our goal is to make your dental experience comfortable and informative so you can make the best dental care decisions for you and your family. We're welcoming new patients to our dental family at Essen & Perkins, and we look forward to meeting you soon at Hightower Dental Concepts. Call us today at 769-0031 or request your appointment at info@dentalconceptsbr.com.
There's a joy of life you'll find only in Louisiana. A spirit of celebration that takes your senses places they've never been before. Where expressions of joy are an art form and our way of life. Where an abundance of good food, good times, and great music means there's more than enough to go around. Come one, come y'all. Come feed your soul in Louisiana. I'm John Goodman, inviting you to visit louisianatravel.com and plan your getaway today.
And you're back with the Rocket Right Show. I'm Dr. Kay Solar in the house with Hurricane Betsy Barnes. And in our medical segment, we are so excited to have with us Dr. Sanjay Juneja and Dr. Lauren Juneja. And you did notice they have the same last name. And so we're excited to have both of y'all. You're at Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center and are both medical oncologists.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know that my husband and I are both OBGYN. We mentioned that. And everybody was like, so did y'all meet during your training? Because otherwise you probably wouldn't pick somebody in the same specialty.
That's right.
It was med
It's
school.
certainly not with OBGYN.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. That's true.
So with all that call and stuff way back then. But anyway, so January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, something I know a little bit about.
Yes.
Thank goodness we usually pick those up as precancerous
That's
lesions
right.
before we have to send them off to you guys.
That's
but
right.
let's talk a little bit about what is cervical cancer, because sometimes even, people are like, which part of me is that? What is that? And we'll talk about that first, and then a little bit about what are some of the symptoms.
Right. So cervical cancer is a cancer that starts, of course, on the cervix, and the cervix is basically the opening or the bottom part of the uterus.
Right, the part that dilates when the baby comes out.
That's right. And so cervical cancer develops usually over some time, and if patients are good in seeing their OB-GYN, like you said, usually it's picked up as a precancer.
Right.
The important thing about cervical cancer is, of course, following with your gynecologist, getting your pap smears, but then now, of course, is getting your HPV vaccine.
Yes, and we've known for a really long time that cervical cancers are related to HPV. And as we talk about vaccines, it's been out for a while.
Right.
Very safe. It first was just recommended for young girls, and now is also recommended for boys as well. And initially, a lot of women were like, well, my daughter's not sexually active. I don't think she needs to get it. Well, you're supposed to get it before that happens.
That's right.
That's where you get the prevention.
Exactly.
So it's just kind of like a lot of the other vaccines, like with hepatitis and stuff. It's a newborn vaccine. We're trying to get rid of that.
Right, exactly.
So,
you have to get the vaccine before you become sexually active because HPV is so common. As you know, it's the most common sexually transmitted disease that you can get. And so by the time, adolescents or, even in their 20s start having sex, that's when you're going to pick up that virus.
Right. And there's so many different strains, and it has no symptoms. So a lot of times no one knows until they come in and they have that abnormal pap smear, which then could be precancerous and hopefully not cancer. Let's talk a little bit about symptoms, because I think, a lot of times there are no symptoms until it's
advanced.
For advanced.
And a lot of people
Yes.
are behind on their annuals because of COVID.
Right.
And so now would be a time to encourage a woman that you love, anyone of any age that's female, to go get checked.
That's right. And I think a lot of times what happens too is we're so, younger patients, of course, they're on birth control or they're, getting pregnant, and they're good about seeing the gynecologist. But as you know, sometimes as women get a little older, they think, I don't need to see the gynecologist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And really, too, that's the time to see, because a lot of times, if you've had HPV for a while, that's when it really is turning into a cancer.
Absolutely. And so let's go over some of those symptoms, because sometimes women, they come up with reasons why they might be having some of those symptoms.
Exactly.
And certainly there's plenty of benign things that could cause a lot of the symptoms, but something to go look at. So one of that is irregular bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
You go ahead, run down that. We're going to let you speak. He likes to speak over there.
Appropriately, it's definitely, a female-dominant cancer, but the important thing is, symptoms, if you have symptoms, it's going to be, especially if you have bleeding after, you've stopped having your cycles, that's concerning, right? It's abnormal.
Absolutely. It is not because your granddaughter moved into the house and you started your period.
Right.
I've heard that before. I've heard everything crazy that people try to rationalize. But if you stopped having cycles and you're an older woman, you should never bleed, and so you go check it out.
Exactly.
And even if it's something like, we just had intercourse and stuff, if that wasn't the norm and it is now, then that's something concerning, either for your, uterine or cervical pain, bleeding. But the key is, and I just want to touch on the concept of screening. So I was at a wedding and somebody said, well, I'm kind of traditional. If I have cancer, I don't want to know about it, right? But I just want to, take the course as it comes. But what screening is identifying something before it becomes cancer.
100%.
That's the key. So our bodies are always like fighting, cells that are normal cells that are trying to go rogue, and they kill them.
Yes.
So we've all cured cancers throughout our lifetimes.
Right.
And that's why we learned a lot with HIV before we could treat it. When the immune system was down, we learned so much about cancers and what comes out when we see the immune system is gone. But what you want to do is, before you get those multiple mutations, you want to see just a couple that look kind of funky and then say, this is not right. Let's just take out all of those. Let's just remove all the ones that got these mutations over years and years, 90% plus, which is HPV. You know, if somebody said, I could take out 90% of the causes of pancreatic cancer. Do you want this vaccine? I mean, we would be lining up, right? Pancreatic cancer is terrifying. That's what this offers. That's why they say it's preventable.
Absolutely. And I always told women, it's like nobody really should get cervical cancer these days.
Right.
With the vaccine and getting appropriate screening, no one should come in and have advanced cervical cancer.
Right.
Because even if they get mutations, it's going to be picked up precancerous, which can be easily treated. So the whole thing is screening.
Because it's slow. You know, that's not always the case with mammograms. You can get it in a year's time and other things. But this one, it truly is, a silver lining. It just takes a while. Like, you have to have a series over several years before you get there. So if you're listening and you're like, well, it's been about 5 or 6 years, there's a little anxiety. It's not a common cancer. Louisiana's 6th in the country of the highest cases. But overall, it's just very unlikely when you go, it'll be positive.
Right.
And that's why getting that peace of mind to go and say, oh, I got it tested and I'm good. That's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
And statistically,
That's right.
it's just unlikely you'll have something abnormal, so you should go and you can say, I'm good for 3 years,
Yeah. And risk factors. We mentioned HPV, but a lot of women don't realize smoking. Yes, smoking. And if you have HPV and you smoke, just a catalyst.
Exactly. Make sure you're getting your pap smears, for sure.
And a lot of my patients, when they would have precancer cells, they say, what can I do so that this doesn't recur and turn back in, and progress to cancer down the road? And if they were a smoker, it's like the biggest thing you can do is quit smoking. And they cannot relate
And they'll say,
how
what's the other
smoking
thing?
has to do with cervical cancer, because they only think about it with lung cancer and, mouth cancers, but it's definitely connected.
Ooh, mouth cancer. So head and neck. That's why men, one, we can transmit it, but head and neck cancer is not fun to treat. It's radiation in places that you really don't want to be dry, and they've gone way up because of HPV. But then now that people are getting the vaccines, we were at an age it came out after, so you can actually get it up to 45. If you're female and you're single and you hadn't gotten it before and you have multiple partners, you still want to get it in the chance that you don't have it because it's just so effective.
So why 45? Absolutely. Why is 45 kind of the cutoff? I'm just curious.
So the guidelines are definitely for women 11. Age 11 is when you can start to get the vaccine, and up until you're 21 or 26. But after that, if you're sexually active, the chance of you getting HPV, because HPV is so common, is pretty high. And so the vaccine is probably not as effective because you've already been exposed.
And that too, it just takes so many years that you really want to make sure you just took care of it beforehand. And somebody's probably thinking, why does a virus cause cancer? So we know viruses cause cancer a lot, and this is going to be scary, but it's because they mess with your DNA of your normal cells. They get in there and say, I'm going to turn on an on switch and just kind of make it, again, I say sketchy, but it's true. That's what viruses do. And then if you could block that from happening, you don't have that kind of funky kind of characteristics on any cell. This is not just cervical, this is anything really.
But I really do love that you're so comfortable talking about it. And I think so many men are so uncomfortable talking about anything gynecological, anything that could affect a woman's health in such a serious way. They're just not comfortable talking about it. So it's so great to hear you talk about it so comfortably. And I hope that encourages a lot of you fellas to ask questions and talk about it and find out, so you can help the women in your life that you love, your mom, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, your lover, your younger daughter who needs to be cared for in the way that she's thinking about her health long term.
And we know the vaccine is safe. Get your vaccines. And then, like you said, all the women in your life, they need to see their gynecologist and get their pap smears.
You could literally save someone's life by just nudging them. You're getting drinks one night or having dinner and be like, by the way, did you get my pap smear? I just got to ask. Because you really could just you could change the entire course of their life. And
get your mammogram while you're at it.
Yeah. And if it's advanced, it's very difficult to treat. That's the unfortunate thing. It's so preventable, but then it's not very forgiving when it is advanced.
Right. And, we don't have very much time left. So we are 100% going to have you guys back, because I really want to cover screening, because that confuses a lot of women with all these new guidelines out there. So make sure that you're up to date on your pap smears, seeing your physician on an annual basis so you'll know if you're up to date. And where should folks go? Mary Bird
Marybird.org is where you can get a lot of information, and the pavilion at Women's, that they navigate everything for you. So it's a one-stop, shop. You get your pap smear, you get referred to the surgeon, you have a navigator that coordinates things for you. We know how fragmented healthcare is, and you have appointments here and there, and nobody talks. At the pavilion, you get all of that at one place.
Yes.
And then you can also see us at Essen or in Baton Rouge General.
Yes, well, thank y'all so much for joining us. We're going to have them back, husband and wife duo, Dr. Juneja.
That's right.
And stay put, because we got some music coming up next for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At Hightower Dental Concepts, we take a compassionate approach to family dentistry. Our goal is to make your dental experience comfortable and informative so you can make the best dental care decisions for you and your family. We're welcoming new patients to our dental family at Essen and Perkins, and we look forward to meeting you soon at Hightower Dental Concepts. Call us today at 769-0031 or request your appointment at info@dentalconceptsbr.com.
Some call it joie de vivre, the joy of life. In Louisiana, it's our way of life. From music that shakes up your senses to food that wakes up your palate. That joy vibrates in every note we play and spices up every meal we serve. So come live life to the fullest. Come one, come y'all, come feed your soul in Louisiana. I'm Sean Ardway, inviting you to plan your trip at louisianatravel.com.
Since the early 1800s, the Selassie family has played a significant role in the retail industry in Louisiana. Stuart Selassie has achieved the Certified Diamond Graduate designation from the prestigious Gemological Institute of America. What that means to you, whether it's appraisals, design, build, repair, or diamond sales, you have an expert you can count on. At Selassie's, you make all the right choices. Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts, in the heart of the Denham Springs Antique District. Find them on Facebook.
The use of opioids and addiction to opioids is on the rise, especially in Louisiana, and I wanted to be a part of the solution. If you have a family member or loved one that you are concerned about with regard to opioid use, please call my clinic, Advantage Health Solutions. You can speak with my nurse or you can speak with myself, and we will talk to you about how to get that person into treatment, and we'll tailor what we do to your needs, and we'll do what we can to get your loved one in treatment and onto the path to health.
Whitetail Properties is not your average real estate company. Land specialist and MSU alum Jeff Taylor in Mississippi and LSU fan realtor Kay Taylor have teamed up. Their sole purpose is uniting buyers and sellers of recreational land. If you're interested in hunting, ranch, investment, and timber properties, Whitetail Properties experts have the right real estate for you. Call Jeff Taylor, 601-248-9433, or Kay Taylor, 225-719-0495, or visit whitetailproperties.com.
Had a meeting with Dr. Barfield, and it kind of just hit me. It probably is cancer. After the surgery, I wasn't scared anymore. I was looking forward to getting started with chemo. Not one time did I get a nurse in a bad mood. I was here for 5 hours at a time, and I did not dread coming. To get people from around the country to come to Baton Rouge, that says a lot right there. That this place is cutting edge.
And you're back with the Rocket Right Show.
That's right.
There's Betsy. She was missing me so much. Dr. K, Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
Look, I was missing you when
Wasn't
you were
you
gone.
missing me?
We have
I
fun when we're
know,
together.
she
You know, two busy blondes. Not everybody can hang with us. Not everybody can keep up.
We've been so busy, but been going in different directions.
Yes.
And I had to miss the annual Home for the Holiday show. Bets was there, and
this was Kay's show. This is her whole thing, but she was just being cautious from a little
Thought
exposure.
I might have had the COVID or flu, but I didn't. I was negative. But anyway, stayed home anyway, and you got to chat with some of the folks there. And I think you have your interview clip of talking with David Borne.
I love the Home for the Holiday show. I love the 3rd Street Songwriters Festival. I love all the music that Kay brings into my life. I truly, truly do. It's a blessing to me. So 8 years of blessing me. And I appreciate that so much. And so David Borne is one of the singer-songwriters from Baton Rouge. You might recognize his name. His dad is Dan Borne, was the voice of the LSU Tigers forever. And he just has a very clever way of putting words together. So we just want you to hear some of his music. And here is my interview with David Borne from the Home for the Holidays show. And you're going to love his music. We're so glad that you could hang with us a little bit. You know how we love our Louisiana musicians. We have a little extra affection for those that are from Baton Rouge. And so if you've not heard him before, you need to hear him. It's David Borne from Baton Rouge. We appreciate so much a few minutes of your time between sound checks and the show for the Manship Theater Home for the Holidays. I think you've really performed in every one of these for 12 years.
I don't think I was in the first one.
So 11 years.
11 years, which seems wild. I didn't, and last year I got COVID, so I couldn't come, and I had to have eye surgery. So I was having cataract surgery, like in early December, but then I got COVID, and it got pushed back to I guess December 24th. I did it Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Well, that's the only excuse. That's the only way we can excuse you for not being here.
COVID and cataract surgery.
Yeah, those are good excuses.
It was legit. Yeah,
it was legit. So this year, we know that it's going to be a great performance, and you have some songs that I really, truly love. I find myself sometimes singing, Where You Belong is one of my very, very favorites. And you co-wrote that with Red Anthony Glenmeyer.
Correct.
Was there anybody else that co-wrote that with you?
Yes, it was our friend, D. Vincent Williams is his name, and D was one of those first really successful Nashville songwriters that would come into Losers, where Rhett and I were in this house band for a year. Rhett, a lot more years than me. He was there first, and he got me this gig. So we were in the Losers band, and this guy, D. Vincent Williams, would get up and sit in, and he wrote I'm Moving On by Rascal Flatts was his gig, which is just one of the greatest songs. Yeah, my family loved that song, and he was kind of one of those first people who would bug us to co-write. And I was scared of co-writing because I was very much had this imposter complex of I don't deserve to be there. And D, he did it for us. He brought us in the room, and we got to write that song, which Red will be playing tonight, and I'll be singing harmony. So we're going to switch. I recorded it, but we're going to switch it out tonight, which will be fun.
Well, I love the way your voices sound together, or the way you blend and harmonize together. So one of the things that I really wanted to ask you about was the way that you're songwriting now and how that has changed from the time you got to Nashville, and you've been there for how many years?
11 years.
11 years, and you recently got married. Yes. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So as you've evolved in the way that you write music, the way you approach music, I find yours to be a little more Americana in some of the ways that you express different lyrics and different music, a little less so than country when you think of country. So how has that changed and evolved, and who's influenced you in the way that you've songwritten while you've been there?
Okay. Yeah, I would say in terms of my songwriting, and I think about this a lot, as a kind of middle class, little white kid in Baton Rouge, a lot of our problems in life involve love and women and like that. That's what gets every songwriter writing song. I think Paul McCartney says, "We're all just telling her we love her," Yeah. And so from when I was a kid and started writing songs as a teenager to moving to Nashville, that was my subject matter. It was let's write about love. Let's write about these relationships and infatuations and heartbreaks.
Sure.
And, I would say the biggest transition has been transitioning out of that in terms of writing more about the life experiences and what I've learned from life, and just trying to share lessons I feel that I've been fortunate enough to I haven't figured anything out, but learned a few things and share more in that world of songwriting. I was very influenced by not the mainstream Nashville thing when I moved there. I didn't have a lot of thoughts about Nashville, but Jason Isbell came out and he released that record Southeastern, I think, in 2012, and that record made me kind of reevaluate how I could write songs and what was possible in writing songs, and I just keep trying to write, honestly, not try to write anything, and just write what is natural to that I know, I would say.
So I find that your lyrics are kind of philosophical,
right?
And I really do like that because it gives you pause to think, and I always get something different from every song that I listen to more than once.
Oh, that's good.
Because it hits you at different times when you're filtering different things, and so. Do you start off with an idea more solo and then say, hey guys, whoever you might be writing with or your friends or, there's a big Louisiana community and songwriters. Hey, I was kind of thinking about this lyric. I was thinking about this rhyme. I was thinking about this. What do you think? Or is it more like you just come out with most of it and then they kind of help you polish and hone it? Is it different with different ones?
Every different way. There's been, my favorite thing is when there's nothing going in and it happens out of the conversation in the room when you get there, and there's not, I do have lists of ideas, and everyone does, and there'll be specific people that like a melody will remind me of, and I'll say, I need to write that with him, and that happens. But it's most fun when you're having a conversation with someone and one of you says something and you're like, that's cool. Let's write about that. That's when it's the most fun for me. But it's happened in just so many different ways.
Well, I want you to play a song.
I'd love to.
But I also want to ask you what you've got going on in 2022. What's ahead for you?
2022 is exciting. I've got a full-length record I'm going to record.
Yeah.
Going in with a guy named Jared Kay, who produces some of my favorite artists, named like Rustin Kelly and Lucy Silvis, another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited about that. And then I'm excited about I've worked with songwriting with veterans in the last few years, and working on stuff like that, like songwriting for trauma. And
that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, so and pursuing some avenues that way is a way to
healing arts.
Yeah, healing arts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, play something for us.
I will. Okay,
something new, or maybe something we haven't heard. But I like your old ones too.
I'll do a new one. This was kind of my, I guess it was at the beginning of COVID, before it felt very as serious as I guess it ended up feeling. We did maybe our last friend hang on a porch, and three of us ended up around a piano, and we wrote this song, which became kind of our COVID a mantra. So it's called Clarity. It goes like this. There's a picture in the corner of the back of my mind, a picture I can barely see, of a fresh-faced misplaced, not made for this place. Boy, he looks a lot like me. Windows closed, windows open. When you can't go on, keep on going. Learn to shine in the darkness. Path from pain can lead to peace. And when you hurt, don't disregard it. You gotta cut through the clouds to catch a peak. Clarity. Clarity. There's a mystery in the middle of the hole in your chest, a riddle you're dying to solve. Just pay attention, listen, the thing you're missing's been with you all along. The hearts that break beat unbroken, 'cause when hope was lost, kept on hoping. Learn to shine in the darkness. All roads from pain lead to peace. And when you hurt, don't get disheartened. You gotta run through the rain to really see clarity.
That was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. There's a lot of people that I think are going to resonate with that song quite a bit.
I hope so.
I think they will. So David Borne, thank you for taking a few minutes with us, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some of your songs with others. And how can people find you?
I'm in the wind.
Look up David Borne.
DavidBorne.com and all the Instagram, Facebook, all the things,
Well, thank you so much for sharing that song and for being on the show tonight and every year. And we look forward to being really big fans and continuing to support you.
Thank you for the support. And for this night, I look forward to it every year. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back with Rock It Right. So David is just living proof of the people that we have. We have more talent per square inch than any place in the world. Mm-hmm. You know, we have so many Baton Rouge and Louisiana-based musicians that have made it in Nashville and around the world, and they're very well recognized, and I'm just proud to be from here.
I know it, and I'm glad that you were there and got to catch up and watch the show and talk with all of the guys and see what was happening in 2022 for them. So looks like there's a lot of cool stuff.
So our next interview coming up would be Red Anthony Glenmeyer.
Yeah.
And so he has got some news that he shares with us in that interview, so you'll just have to wait and watch it. And we look forward to sharing some more singer-songwriters and bringing live music to you because we love live music.
Absolutely, and hopefully live music is going to be back.
Yeah, we are back. We're claiming it. We're claiming it.
We're thinking.
Well, make sure that you go to LouisianaTravel.com, find out all the good things that are going on around Louisiana, and we're just glad to be here.
Yeah, and head over to our Facebook page at Rock It Right Entertainment. And if you're going to rock it,
make sure you rock it right.
Woo! With Bets and me around the state.
Are you a business owner that could use just one more customer? Those empty tables, vacant appointments, idle employees, and expired merchandise are missed opportunities. What if there were a community that connects you to high-value and motivated customers, giving you a competitive edge in the marketplace and increasing your revenue? Introducing Partners One. You keep doing what you do best, taking care of your customers, and we'll do what we do best, sending you new customers to take care of. Call us today to find out how Partners One can work for your business.
Rock It Right with Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar is brought to you by these generous sponsors. Partners One, better barter for Baton Rouge and beyond.
Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, Selassie Jewelry and Fine Gifts, Advantage Health Solutions with Dr. Boyd Michael Helm, Hightower Dental Concepts with Dr. Leah Larson, City Group Hospitality including City Pork Brasserie and Bar, City Pork Catering, City Slice, City Taco, Rouge Creole, and Beau Soleil.
Talent 360 Consulting with Vicki Little. Jeff Taylor, Realtor and Forester with Whitetail Properties. The 3rd Street Songwriters Festival. Elite Chiropractic with Dr. Ron McMorris. LouisianaIsATrip.com. Take one. Thank you for making our show possible.